Alrighty, hello. My name is Vanel. This will be my first attempt at a proper Pokemon Nuzlocke. I've tried before and I've given up halfway through. And I'm bound to make some mistakes and I'll hopefully learn from them. I'm going to be using the usual rules for Nuzlocke, which if a Pokemon faints, it is dead and I place it into a box and forget about it. I have to nickname each Pokemon I catch, so there is more sentimental value between them. I can only catch one Pokemon per route, and I cannot surpass the next Pokemon Gym's ace Pokemon. For Rourke, I can't pass level 14. And now I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this, if I'm being completely honest. The Elite Four in this game is pretty challenging, especially Cynthia. Although I believe that this would be a fun challenge while I wait for Endwalker to come out. And I had decided to go with Chimchar so that I could probably take on Gardenia's gym, assuming he doesn't faint to Rourke. And my Chimchar ended up having a naive nature, which gave it increased speed while having lower special defense, which isn't a terrible nature for Chimchar. It lets him get in faster and hopefully one hit his opponents before anything happens to him. Now, I had decided to name Chimchar Wukong after the Monkey King, and the fact Chimchar is a monkey, and he's, just ignore my little typo there. That was an accident, I realized it was wrong. After that, I was shown around by Dawn and whatnot, and then I was sent to head home and tell my mother about the current plan of filling out the Pokedex, which I won't be doing. So I decided to skip over all the tutorial content and jump straight to getting my first Pokemon, which turned out to be a Starly, and thankfully it wasn't a Bidoof. After I caught her, I had named her Eos, mainly because I could not think of another name that I could easily pronounce throughout this Nuzlocke. And Eos's nature, while it was not a great nature, it was impish, which, let's be honest, for a Starly, impish isn't very useful. However, it does have some uses. While I was getting ready to catch my next Pokemon on Route 202, I was really hoping I was going to run into a Shinx, which we had an alright encounter rate. Sadly, I had only ran into a Bidoof, which, well, as the name says, was a big oof. And thankfully, she at least had a decent nature of impish, so I at least had a physical attack or physical tank for now. My next encounter was against Youngster Trench, Tristan, who had a level 5 Starly that I felt Wukong would easily take out. After the fight with Youngster Tristan, I had to fight against a lass and another youngster, both of which were fairly easy to take on. After that, it was finally time to go into Jubilife City, where I was greeted by Dawn, and she told me where I could encounter Barry, and I should also study at the trainer's school. Once I made it into the trainer's school, it was finally time to take on the two school students for the ACM. And they both had a level 6 Abra, if I'm not mistaken. And I went in expecting that I was going to be able to more or less bully the school kids and get out of there unscathed. However, I was very wrong in assuming that. The poor kid beat up all of my Pokemon extremely hard and also killed Oof. And sadly, I was missing my tank now. While he did kill Oof, I was extremely lucky in that I had Eos who had Quick Attack, and Quick Attack was able to take out the school kid without any issue. Thank goodness, otherwise I was going to be in a lot of trouble. Lots and lots of trouble. After beating the school kid and his little sister, I went back to the Poke Center because I couldn't remember if I was fighting Barry in the Trainer Center or if it was only on Route 203. So I went to the Poke Center, I healed up, I changed the box so I knew exactly which box was what. And before I went to go and fight or talk to Barry, I went to Route 219 to get the old rod so I could fish up a Magikarp because of Gyarados being a very strong water type. And that's going to be useful in the future against Flan. And I also went to 208, I think, to see if I could catch myself a Roserade. However, I did not strike so lucky, and I ran into a Shinx instead. So I got a bit lucky. And finally, it was time to go talk to Barry, deliver the parcel, and get everything on its merry way. Once we delivered the parcel to Barry, it was finally time to get our own Pokewatch. So we encountered the president of the Poketech company outside of the trainer school, and he informed us of the clown promotion, where you're supposed to find the three clowns in Jubilife City, and you will get a free Pokewatch. And well, we did that, and we obtained our Pokewatch, and it was finally time to head to Route 203 to fight Barry for the first time. Once I started fighting Barry, he sent out his Starly and I sent Eos. Eos was able to land 2 quick attacks, whereas his Starly had only used Sand Attack. So Eos was able to 2-hit his Starly, and it leveled up learning Wing Attack. And I would then subsequently use Wing Attack and Quick Attack to take out his Piplup. The battle was quite easy, thankfully, and I didn't run into any hiccups yet, outside of losing Bidoof extremely early to an Abra. Because this was a new route, I had decided I might try and catch a Pokemon here. However, after looking at the Pokemon that were able to spawn on Route 207, I came to learn there was only a Kricketot. And I do not need Kricketot because I'm hoping to run into a Cascoon or even a Wurmple in Iridia Forest. Other than that, the trainers were extremely easy to punch and knock over. Now, I had one goal before I took on Oreberg's gym, and that was to level up Wukong so he was able to learn Power Up Punch, which would give him an attack up each turn he used it, which would be extremely useful for Rourke because of him being in a rock gym. Once we got into Oreberg City, we were introduced to a youngster who was going to show us where to get to the gym. Once we got to the gym, we encountered Barry, who has already gotten his badge. He then told me that Rourke was hanging out down in the caves, in the mines. So we decided that we would go up to Route 207 and level up Wukong a bit. And I was able to catch myself a Geodude, who I had decided to name Terra. Now I was simply needing to level up Wukong by 1 level so he was able to learn the fighting type move Power Up Punch, which was relying heavily on Machops due to Geodudes being extremely non-punching, or non-embering. After a couple fights, Wukong was able to level up, and their power-up punch, which I swapped out for Taunt. Now, it was time to go to get Rourke. While I was in the mines, I had decided I would see if I couldn't level up Wukong to level 14 so he could evolve into a Monferno. And my first encounter in the mines happened to be a Zubat who I decided to catch, and I then named the Zubat Arrow. Once I got Rourke out of the mines, it was finally time to get my first badge. Or lose to Craniados. Either way, I was going to go take on the gym now. According to the calculator, a Monferno wouldn't have any issue with the fight. So I stayed in the mines until Wukong leveled up. Until I remembered that there were 2 trainers in the gym who I was able to fight. Thankfully, after the first trainer, Wukong leveled up. So he was able to get a stab bonus on Power Up Punch, and I also got Mach Punch. My plan for Rourke was to use 2 Power Up Punches on the Geodude, so I would have a +2 attack bonus before Onix, and I would then use a Mach Punch followed by a Power Punch, so I would have a +3 attack bonus on Craniados once he was up. But that didn't go to plan because I didn't realize Mach Punch went through Sturdy, and I also forgot to record that part of the fight. Whoops. Yay. I was lucky that I had misremembered Rourke's Craniados as being extremely difficult for a fight. Thankfully he wasn't, so Wukong was able to Power Punch his way, or Mach Punch his way through Craniados, and I got myself the Oreberg City badge. Now it was time for Valley Windworks, and I also had a new level cap of 22, which would have been Gardenia's Roserade. I am concerned that I'm going to be going over the cap with Wukong, so I'm going to be putting him in the backseat so I can work on leveling up Eos, Bahamut, and Zeus. I'm not too worried about Terra or Arrow since I don't plan to use them against Gardenia. I may end up having to use Arrow depending on how quickly Eos levels up. While you're here, I would like to point out that I am streaming this over at my Twitch, twitch.tv/vanel_. It will be in the description as well. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest.